Hey there, and welcome to the Wholistic Badass Podcast. This is a podcast covering all things holistic. That means addressing topics covering and encompassing all of the things pertaining to the whole you, body, mind, and spirit. Let me, Lori, be your host and guide as we journey through a variety of topics from which you may draw from in order to form your own self-care regimens in a well-rounded way, which makes you a holistic badass. So sit back, buckle up, put your feet up if you're at home, be prepared to have your ears on if you're driving, and let's listen to what's up today. The information presented in this podcast is for informational and self-education use only. It is not intended for self-diagnosis, nor treatment, nor anything that constitutes the practice of medicine. Please consult with a qualified physician concerning the prudence of and before undertaking any major changes in diet, any treatments for disease, any use of drugs or prescription items, or the cessation thereof. Hey, holistic badasses, how are you? How are you dealing with this summer? Where I am at, this summer has been incredibly hot and humid, and it's been very challenging in a number of ways. Now, more than ever, we need to band together as a group of holistic badasses, call us a veritable league of holistic badasses, to take care of each other so that we all make it through the trying times. Speaking of which, in this episode, we're going to get to know my friend Jason Cunningham of Forage 360, a holistic badass coming at you from the greater Indy area. Hey, holistic badasses, today I am here with my friend Jason. Jason, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone?
Hello, my name is Jason Cunningham. I am the founder of Forage 360. This has been a project that has been going on for a few years now. Some thoughts that have been going on of wanting to actually get started with the business, and finally I did it. And my partner Jody helps me out a lot with it, and I'm really grateful for her as well. The idea probably came around right around the pandemic, I would say, about pushing to do herbalism and foraging as a business, even starting as right now as a side business and trying to push that to be more of a mainstream income for the family.
Right. So I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. Like many of us, we're kind of trapped in our 9-to-5s or our shift work or whatever that's covering our base life. Like keeping the lights on, keeping the water flowing, that kind of thing. But prior to the pandemic, were you like just learning about herbalism and mushrooms, or how were you doing that?
I was still learning. I was in the military for 10 years, and when I decided to get out, I was really trying to think of what I really enjoyed doing. And one of the things that I enjoyed doing a lot was just being in the outdoors and hiking and camping. I was trying to figure out, well, if I like that so much, how can I want to know more around me. I always did. And I ended up going to a school out in the Pacific Northwest called Wilderness Awareness School. And that was I still learned a lot of survival skills there, just like a lot of the, just nature in general, and just some primitive skills. From there, I ended up in Indiana, and I found my herbalist mentor, Greg Munzel, Persimmon Herb School. And I've taken many classes with him, and I just did a big deep dive. But I also went to school for horticulture, but out in Seattle as well. And then on my way out here, that's when I went to found Greg Munzel, who I just did a big rabbit hole deep dive with in herbalism.
That's awesome. Whereabouts in Indiana is he located? Because Indiana's pretty big.
Yeah, he's in Indianapolis.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. That's awesome. Back in the day when I started doing this stuff, there weren't very many herb schools. I mean, there were, but there weren't. And I would have had to like go move to Appalachia for six
Mhm.
months. And, that kind of like I could have gone and hung out with Susan Weed or something of that nature. But that would have been like something that I wasn't able to do, dragging two small kids with me, that kind of thing. So we kind of I kind of shoved mine together in little pieces and parts. I feel like you said, you went to the wilderness school.
Y-
Um, you kind of piece things together to make a path.
You do, and it's like you kind of feel like that path is like overgrown or something. You don't know where to go, and you try to make your own little ways and find little paths and or side quests, and then you like honestly, I was gonna drive through Indiana. I knew one person here, and I decided to like stay for a bit and help them out. And I met these amazing people because I'm in Indianapolis. And I met Greg Munzel, who mentored me a lot in my herbalism journey.
Hmm.
And so, like paths like that, I'm just like, well, I guess it's good. I ended up here for a while. Uh,
But I guess it's good. And now look where you're at. This is fantastic. So tell me a little bit about Forage 360.
so Forge 360, the idea behind that is really I enjoy teaching as well. So foraging is was a big part of me and my partner, like going into woods looking for ramps. We look for ramps. We look for morels and all those types of mushrooms and different food sources. I did,
Mhm.
and I just really want to bring that, and sort of we really wanted to bring that full circle, and that's why it was a foraging 360. So we want to do the foraging. Sometimes we'll talk about how to cook with the different herbs and stuff. We have a newsletter too we put out, and we do farmers markets as well.
Awesome.
But it's just really just a really good full circle of what we can do all season long, and the medicinal plants all season long. We'll talk about a lot of those too.
Yeah, no, that's great. So you guys primarily do stuff that you forage, of course, which is going around in the countryside and finding what grows wild there. How do you know where to go?
Uh, I've it's like one of those rabbit holes again. You just start like once you start really learning a lot of these plants, you're like, oh my God, this plant's everywhere. Like, have I
Yeah,
walked over this plant 1,000 times and never noticed it here?
right.
But yeah, I go to a lot of parks, just a lot of nature walk anywhere I can get into like public access land, and I'll walk in through the woods there. I'll find stuff.
Right.
Um, Learning stuff, I will say going to like your city park is a great place. There's some trails to the woods there, and there's a lot of great understory, a lot of great coverage, a lot of stuff that you could pick out and learn.
Perfect. Yeah, I noticed that even well, where I'm at's mostly farmland, and I'm pretty lucky. My brother's an organic dairy farmer, so they raise most of their own feed. So,
Mhm.
all those plants that I'm familiar with as a kid, then all of a sudden you realize, oh, this stuff they're sticking in a capsule, this is that same stuff that I would, pick and play with as a child. And then it's, oh, holy crap, I know where a ton of this is. So
Yes, it
he
does
can go
happen.
out to the fence row. I can go out to a fence row bordering between two of his fields. And he's like, yeah, help yourself. Get whatever you can get.
And though, as they in quotation, I'll put weeds, as everybody calls them,
Yeah,
and
the weeds.
very medicinal. Like everybody says, dandelion's a weed. The entire plant's edible.
It
Highly
is.
medicinal. Highly medicinal. Really great for your heart health.
Yes.
And one thing we'll even do is we'll take the leaves and mix it up with salt and make a dandelion salt, so you can get some of the health benefits of the dandelion while also adding a little bit of salt to your food. And we do need salts. It's just that, like doctors say, oh, you have high sodium, but you got to be taking the right kind of salts into your body.
Yes. Yeah, well, and everything in moderation too,
In
It's not
moderation,
like,
correct.
yeah, it's not like you're gonna sit down and be like, "Oh, dandelion salt, this negates the sodium." I mean,
Yes,
it does
exactly.
a little, just a little because of the diuretic quality, but not enough to just dump out the whole jar on there. But
Yes.
now, when I spoke with you at HerbalCon, you had mushroom powders with you, I believe.
Yes, I do. So like a lot of the mushrooms, I will sometimes forage some mushrooms and bring it to market and let people know that these ones have been foraged. But I do have like I do grow mushrooms,
Two?
and usually at the market, at the market, I'm bringing mushrooms that I grow,
Oh,
and
awesome.
same thing with the microgreens. So with the powders, like I'll just once the mushroom, like I'll dehydrate the mushrooms and I'll turn them into a powder,
Oh,
and I use those very much like I do in, with the seasoning and cooking. Like
yeah.
add it to some soup, I've added to the flour breading when I've been wanting to fry something up. So I'll add a little bit of mushroom powder to that. You don't taste it, like, but you get the benefits of it.
Right. No, that's great. I have a friend who uses mushroom powders like that to act as a thickener. Like if she
Yes.
makes a gravy or a thicker soup or stew, she uses them as a thickener. And then she's like, I get the mushroom benefits instead of, more flour or cornstarch, So she goes, I get the
Exactly.
mushroom benefits from that. So, what are some challenges that you've run into with with your business in general? Because I feel like there are a lot of people who are still stuck on the mentality that herbal medicine and foraging and stuff is just a wild, wild west and there's no rules. And then we're sitting here going, dude, if you only knew how many rules there were.
Like, I mean, definitely like when I first got it started, I had a lot of conversations with the health department, making sure that I was doing everything correctly to their standards for me to bring stuff to the market.
Hmm.
Just really looking at that, and with with this, a lot of foraging too. Um, when I teach some classes on looking for mushrooms, I'll start with some of the easy mushrooms to identify. Like chicken in the woods is very easy to identify. There's not really a look-alike to chicken in the woods. It's,
Hmm.
you know, bright orange. Well, there's two types. There's a bright orange one, and then there's one that's a little more white. There's sulphureus, Platypus sulphureus, which is the yellow one, and then cincinnatus, Platypus cincinnatus is more white, and that one grows more at the base of a tree. But they're just really I just really try to like show people to get into it. Like it does seem scary, like to get into it, but if you just stick to something, some of the basic ones, start learning those ones. Like for me, for a while, what I was doing when I was finding mushrooms, I would journal them for a year, and I would like keep trying to find that mushroom, and then I would try to find it in other places and make sure I'm 100% IDing that mushroom before I just
Hmm.
really get myself. But yeah, it just in field guides. Like I know there's a lot of apps out there people use. I'll use an app sometimes if I'm confused on something to get to the right ballpark because I'm like, this plant really looks similar to another plant, but
Right.
I'll be like, and I can get to at least the family, and then I'll start trying to track it down because they have been wrong sometimes, and I'll test them out sometimes, and I've tested it, and I've gotten some wrong answers before, and I was like, okay, well. That's not the correct plant because I know that. But it was in the area for me to look in.
Right. Right. I've done that where you think you got it.
Hmm.
And so like I'll use the app once in a while to kind of like you said get in the ballpark. And
Yes.
then at least sometimes they'll give you like three different examples and you can kind of narrow it down and say, well, I know it's not that and I know
Yeah.
it's not that. Is
Just like
there a
with the field
favorite?
guides too. That's why the field guides are really good to like because once you get to that ballpark, you look up what you can look up the three that it gave you and look at and look at some of the plants, and it's
Right.
going to and the field guides is going to give you some really good details of that specific plant, and then you could be like, okay, that's what this one is, because it might have it could be a similar looking plant, but it could have hairs that on one side of the stem alternating up the stem, or it could have
Right.
uh, this
So
yeah. So it's
is there a particular field guide that you prefer over any others?
I got started with Newcomb's field guide.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Amazon. It's like Newcomb's Wildflower Field Guide. I don't think I have it at my desk right now.
That's
Um, that's a good one to get you learning some plants. He like there's some things in that book though that I'm just like I wish they would elaborate a little bit more. However, it's a really great book for starting out, and I still take that with me into the field to like look at some plants because I can get to it's got a really easy like key IDing to like get to the field where you need to be, the area.
mm-hmm.
Um, yes, like because you're basically looking at like is the leaves world, are they alternate or are they opposite? And then you
Right.
kind of get a number from then you move over and like is it flowers and how many parts of the flower, and then you get move on from there to get another number. And as you do that, you can get to in his book to where that plant is.
Right.
So it's a
And
really great
those are the
starting out.
fun ones. Um,
Yes.
Trying to remember. We used Newcomb's. And I used a Peterson field guide for trees. And
Mhm.
there was something else. When I was in high school, I was very lucky. We had a teacher who taught us an advanced biology class, similar in the way that a college botany class was taught. And we had to tromp around in the woods. We had like 4 or 5 field trips where we would just go tromp out in the woods and get our specimen, and we had to learn how to press them and ID them. And it was a lot of work. It was
It
a lot of
was.
work. But yeah, but here I am, and now I do what I do with herbs, and I kind of like walk through it like it's a no-brainer now, but I
Mhm.
know that, if people haven't had instruction in that, that's not really their thing. They have no idea what you're talking about. So,
Yes. And it definitely is a lost art, and it's coming back. And I've used a lot of my training in herbalism to help myself out and my own family out. Like my father, for one, he had prostate cancer, and there was turkey tail was one of the mushrooms I gave him. Like turkey tails are really great for boosting the immune system. It's really
mhm,
great for it was actually I told him to take it because it will help him with the radiation. I was like it will help get everything out of your body, get
yeah,
radiation out of your body. And yeah, he took that in a tea form every day. And I said, just keep taking it. Like, let your doctor know you're taking it.
right.
Uh, yes, and I
Yeah,
knew some
that's
other doctors that said that everything you gave them should not mess with anything.
right.
But they're definitely really good herbs to be taking while doing those treatments.
Right.
And
And I think, you know,
yeah,
the attitude of the medical community towards what we do has shifted quite a bit over 20, 30 years. Um,
yes.
I tell all my clients, just tell your doctor what you're doing. If they have a question, they can call me. I said, you're going to have to sign off a HIPAA release that says I'm allowed to talk to them. But, I have no problem. I've had a couple of clients who have had me discuss some things with their doctor. Um,
Yes.
as long as everything's done legally with the releases, and
Hmm.
the doctors are pretty much like, "Hey, I'm up for it. We'll do whatever works." And I'm I'm in the position where I'm like, "Look, I can make all kinds of suggestions just as long as it doesn't interfere with your medical stuff. We're good. We'll
Yes.
do whatever
We're
we need to
good.
do."
Yes,
So
we
I
are.
I do really I love that stuff has shifted to that. Like we're all on the same team. There's no reason to be fighting over with each other.
No, and like if I could help someone out with some, because it's like when you go see a doctor with a issue, your doctor might say, "Okay, I'm gonna recommend you to this person. They're a specialist in that area." It's like so, like not everybody like you will specialize in some herbs differently than where I know some different herbs and specialize where it
Right.
could help other. And that's why, like you said, we could all work together. Like, hey, tell your doctor this is what we're doing, and if your doctor's got questions of the herbs and how to use them and what they're doing, they can call me, they can call you, they can call us, and we can
Yeah.
let them know. And if the client is getting better, something's working. Like,
Right.
let's work together.
And it's definitely worth whatever you're doing in order to make that happen. So, where do you see Forge 360 going and growing over the next year to 2 years?
I definitely see us getting into like I'm really working on getting into some brick and mortars for like so much stuff because besides the mushrooms and that we're selling, we also have a line of syrups and I do have bees as well, so I'll have honey. So I'm trying to get some of that into some coffee shops, some small sandwich shops to get some of the microgreens in and some of the mushrooms that we have. So just really trying to do that. We are in farmers markets. I would like to in the next couple of years to be into more um, storefronts so much than doing sitting markets several days a week.
Well, there's only so many places one person can go. Even with your partner's help, I mean, I learned that because this year I had to do a lot of renovations on my house. So I couldn't be at as many markets if I had to be home doing renovations. And so, I had to kind of take a little step back from some vending, which, I mean, it'll all pan out in the end. But
It does.
yeah, it's there's only so far you can go being one entity, even with two people running everywhere. It's really difficult. It's a lot easier to just ship and drop off and have other
And
places
I
go.
do, and I do, well, I do love being at markets because I do enjoy seeing my customers come up to me and asking questions and just realizing that like, hey, like I already take this medication is what's similar that could help. And I'm not gonna tell them, hey, don't take your medication, but like these herbs can help, and talk to your
Right,
doctor again. This can definitely help. And if you want to, like, it's gonna be your decision to not take
right,
like your ADHD medicine. I can't tell you that. So that's
right.
definitely your decision to do that. And however, like I do have a tincture that my partner came up with to really help with mental clarity and focus and for her ADHD and stuff. And it works really great. And
Good.
other people try it. It works great for them too. So
Awesome.
yes.
Well, and I may have to get that recipe from you. Um,
Okay.
ADHD runs strong in this household. But I think that sounds wonderful. Um, so you're working to get more stuff out there everywhere. Are you doing tinctures right at this moment in time too?
We do tinctures. I do tinctures as well. Yes, that's one of the other main sources of the business income right now is a lot of the tinctures. It's the tinctures and the syrups do really well. Same with
Awesome.
the mushrooms.
Now, so tinctures are a whole nother animal. So
Mm.
what have you learned or what should I say? What have you learned or learned to incorporate in making your tinctures?
As for types of tinctures that I make,
Yeah, like is there one that's your favorite or are you doing mainly alcohol based? Are you doing any glycerins or vinegars?
so we mainly just do alcohol and glycerin-based tinctures, and we do have the no, we call it nootropic, and that's the one for ADHD. And then we have some that are we do a couple of glycerin base for some people, including myself. I don't drink anymore. I've been sober for I think a little over 13 years now.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Yes, thank you. And it took me a long time, like almost recently, for me to really do an alcoholic based tincture. And I have to put it into something else because I don't want to taste the alcohol.
Right.
So definitely that's it. So I do a lot of glycerin based tinctures myself, or I do a lot of the herbs in a tea form. I do have some tea blends as well. That's another thing. That's a big thing we do as well. And again, like everything at our tables, medicinal and herbal. Like my tea
Right.
blends have no caffeine in them. I have a one that's really good for pain and inflammation. I have some that's good immune boosting systems, and like for mental clarity with memory and focus. But yes, for mostly for the tinctures though, it's alcohol based and glycerin based.
Awesome. Well, how do people find you?
I am on Instagram at Forage360, all one word, and I'm also on Facebook as well. And that's FORAGE 360. And that is also my website at .com is my website, and you can find me there as well.
All righty, awesome. Well, Zoom is telling me I need to get off, so I will let you go. And I am so happy that we got to do this. And you have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day, okay?
Thank you, you too. And it was a pleasure being on here.
All righty, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
So there you have it, Holistic Badasses. Jason and his partner do everything in their power to bring you wonderful, foraged and wild-crafted herbs and mushrooms to help you be all that you can be in the most holistic manner possible. I am so grateful that he was able to join us for that introduction to make sure that he's on your radar. Go check him out on all the socials and see what he has to offer. Also, be watching. Plans are in the works for HerbalCon 2026. It'll be March 14th, 2026 this year at the Auglaize County Fairgrounds. We have loads of information coming your way. So far, I've been able to secure not one, but two of the speakers, and you have to check out the event listing. It'll be in the notes for this episode so that you can stay on top of all of the announcements for that great event. HerbalCon 2026 is a premier event, a premier natural health event, conservation event, foraging event, and environmental event. If you're a gardener or a forager or an herbalist or just a natural health enthusiast, HerbalCon is for you. So check out the link in the notes on this episode so that you can find out your way to get a ticket at a steep discount for HerbalCon. Be good, be healthy, be great. Go out there and be that holistic badass I know you can be.